Oops. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at creating a template, okay? And a template is going to offer for us the standard layers, which are going to include line styles, line widths for the different types of elements that we're going to be using to draw our drawings, okay? So really now going forward, we're going to be putting on hidden lines, center lines, object lines, all that kind of stuff. So we want to set up a template so that we don't always have to create those each and every time that we do a drawing. Okay. So if we go back to module 3, okay, go back one level. In session number 2, agenda items, there is a handout. It says module 3 assignment. This is going to be your assignment 3A. We're going to do it together here, okay? And it says CAD layers, okay? What I've done is I've printed it out and I have it underneath my camera, okay? And this is the handout that we're going to be looking at, okay? At the top here, this is going to list all the layer names. You can see color, line type, and line width. Those are the things that we're going to set up for each one of these layers. And then down below is our process, okay? Like how we're going to create this. So we're going to go through this together. We're going to make an inch template and a millimeter template so that when you open up AutoCAD, then you can select, instead of that ACAD one, you can select the one that we're creating now. And then when you get in, all these layers will be populated for you, okay? So we're going to start by making sure that our units are in inches. So we're going to do the inch one first. So if you went in and you hit imperial, it will be. But if you're not sure, you want to go up to that that A, the red A up in the corner, go down to drawing utilities. Don't click anything, and then you're going to go to units. You can finally click on units, okay? Units. And when we get here, what you want to make sure in the middle here that you are in inches, okay? Now, precision, I always set it at 4 because that's what they're going to be, but you could do 4, 5, you could do 3, but a lot of our decimals sometimes, especially if they're anything beyond a quarter of an inch, they're going to be, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. So I like 4 is a good number. And as long as that's all set there for you, you can just hit OK. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our layers. Now, you're going to notice right in the middle of our ribbon, we really haven't been paying attention to this at all. But the standard layer that comes in, it's called the 0 layer. It's just white, and we've been just drawing on the 0 layer, okay? It's not bad to draw on the 0 layer, but there's going to be some advantages to putting certain lines on certain layers because then we can turn them on and off if a drawing gets busy or something like that. Okay. So if you arrow down here, you're going to notice that the only layer that's there is that 0 layer. Okay. Once we get it populated, we're going to have all the ones that I have on that sheet of paper. They're going to be listed down below in alphabetical order. Okay. So we're just going to click back that up and we're going to go over to the left-hand side here where it says layer properties. Okay. Layer properties. So I'm going to click on that and this dialog box opens up. Okay. And right now the 0 layer is there. Left click on that 0 layer just so that it turns blue. Okay. And once it turns blue, hit the enter key. And what's going to happen is it's going to generate a new line that we now can add the information for our first layer. So if we go underneath, okay, the first layer we're going to add, 0 is already there. Okay. Now you'll notice that black and white are here. Black and white are interchangeable. So if you have a black background and you put black as a color for a layer, it will go white, okay? If you have a white background and you have the color white for the black or for a layer, it's going to be black. Does that make sense? So it gives you that opportunity. Some people like a white atmosphere or a white background. Some people like the dark background. Just kind of depends on what your preference is. So even though we have a black background or such, you're going to notice that is actually white on our background, but it's black like in the background, if you would. Now we're going to start with our object layer, and our object layer we're going to put on. Okay, you're going to notice that we're in a text editing mode. Now I like to have all of my layers in all caps. You don't have to, all right? But I'm going to do object all caps, okay? All right. And you can hit enter here once. And then what we're going to do is there's going to be the place where you see the white. Okay, we're going to leave that white. But if we would change the color like on the next layer, then we're going to click on it. But we're going to leave it white. We're going to leave it a continuous line type in the middle here. You see how we're following along with the columns there? But the line weight we are going to change, okay? So click on the line weight, like just right on that line weight, left click on there. And now a dialog box is going to come up and we're going to go down until we see 0.5 millimeters, okay? 0.5 millimeters. Object lines are going to be the thickest lines that we have on a drawing, okay? If you remember from, I think it was last time that we were together, we talked about the precedence of the lines and how some are thicker, some are thinner, okay? And the object lines are the ones that we want to see if you would pop on a drawing. Then we're going to left click again on object and we're going to hit enter. Now we can do our next layer. Our next layer is going to be hidden. So hidden, and press enter once. The color for hidden is going to be green. So when you click on the white, left click on the white, you're going to notice that the colors dialog box comes up and we're going to stick with what I call the like regular colors, if you would, or the primary colors, just the green down here. You need to only use the colors we're using here, okay? Companies are going to have templates set up where you have to use theirs. Please do not start putting pink and all these different things in there because I don't want you to. No, it's really because it's kind of like I want you to kind of treat this like this is your company that you're working for, if you would, okay? So we're all going to have green hidden lines, okay? So green, once you have that selected right there, we're going to hit OK. Now, you're going to notice line type. We're going to click on that. This needs to be a hidden line type. So we need to change it from continuous to hidden. So to do that, our dialog box is going to come up and we need to load a new line type. Now another dialog box is going to come up and we're going to arrow. We're just going to take your roller and go down, down, down. And it's in alphabetical order. We're going to click on hidden. Don't click on hidden 2 or times 2, any of those, just the first one hidden. And you're going to hit OK. Now, before you hit OK here, I don't know why it does this, you have to select hidden. It's not going to be selected. You loaded it in the dialog box. Now select hidden and hit OK and make sure that your line type for hidden is hidden. Okay? It's dashed, basically. Now the line weight, we're going to change that. If we go back underneath here, notice that for hidden, our line weight is 0.3 millimeters. Remember, our object line has to be the heaviest or the thickest. And I'll know if you did this or not, because when you send me your drawings, I'll be able to tell which lines are thicker and which lines are thinner. So make sure you do it. Believe me, the difference between 0.5 and 0.3, it's distinguishable, okay? All right, so I'm going to click on my line. I'm going to go to 30 or 0.3, right? Yeah, and then okay. All right, so that's all the hidden line. Then I'm going to reselect it, enter, and then we're going to do center. Enter. This one, the color is cyan. Cyan is right next to the right, oopsie, just to the right of the green, okay, on the regular color line. Okay, so cyan for center. Line type is center line. So we need to click on hidden. We need to load a center line. So we got to click on load. And then we're going to roll down to center, the first center, okay? And then okay. And then select center, because it won't select it, it's loaded, you got to select it, then okay. Now, if you need to go back in it, just re-click on, you know, the word that you need. Then we're going to do line weight. This one needs to be 0.25 millimeters. And okay. So the center is done. Then we're going to do X hatch. Okay. This one is going to be yellow. Again, regular yellow. Okay. This one's going to go back to a continuous line type. So we click on that. And then this is going to be the default line type. So you're going to go all the way up to the top. Default is on the top. You might have to scooch that bar. Okay. Okay. The rest, I think, are going to be default line type. Then reselect hidden, enter, and then now you're going to be C-plane. C-plane is cutting plane. Okay, that's going to be when we want to create a view or if we want to create a section. That is going to be our regular blue. Okay, that's also going to be a hidden line type. Okay, it's like basically a dashed line. And then that's going to stay default. And we're going to reselect, enter, and we're going to do dimension. This one's going to be the magenta color again, just to the right of that blue. Back to continuous line type and keep the line weight at default. Notes. That's also going to be everything the same as dimension. Magenta, continuous, and default. Okay. Now the border is not a regular, okay? So the border, it's blue 150. So up here by the blues, you're going to kind of go right about there and you're going to look at the index color. See how the index color changes? Okay. You're going to look for 150 blue, kind of like right there. Okay. Okay. And it's going to show it as 150. That's going to be continuous and default. Then our next one is just an extra layer in case we need one. We're going to make that white. So back to the regular white on the line, continuous and default. And then our very last layer is going to be construction. Now, I am going to put mine in. It says gray 8, which is the darker gray. Up against a black background, that gray is pretty dark. I'm going to go over and I'm going to do gray 9, okay? Gray 9. It's a little bit lighter and we'll be able to see it, at least on mine. If you want to do the darker one, that's totally fine. And that's construction, continuous, and default. Now, once you have all of these in here, all we have to do, there's nothing really else to do except just X out of it, okay? By Xing out in that upper left-hand corner. Now, when we arrow down, you have all of your layers. They will not be in the order we put them in. They'll be in alphabetical order, just so you know, okay? Now, before we leave here, what I want you to do is we are going to set our current layer. So click on, when you arrow down here, click on object, okay? We do not want to have the 0 layer as the current layer when you come in on your template, okay? We want to be on one of our lines because we want to make sure that it's got the right color and the right line weight. If you have the template set at 0, now you're going to have to switch them all, you know, to the right layer. Not that it's a huge deal. It's not that hard, but put it on there. So the next thing we want to do, let's look there. Let's look back underneath, okay? So we added all the layer properties. We changed the current layer to object, not 0. Now what we want to do is we want to draw a rectangle in landscape 11 by 8.5. Okay, so we want to have our 8.5 by 11 piece of paper kind of sitting down lengthwise. Okay, and this way, when we open up AutoCAD and we're on an inch, you know, increment, it's kind of like we've got an A-size border, you know, kind of size of paper. Remember last time we were looking at the what was it called? Drawing extents or drawing properties or something. And we were kind of invisibly putting them there. We're going to draw a rectangle and zoom to it. And then now it'll be kind of like proportion wise, it's going to be good. So I'm going to do a line. And the first point, I want my first point, the lower left-hand corner, if you would, of this rectangle to be at 0, 0. Enter. Now, if you need to, kind of roll towards yourself to zoom out, okay? So that you can see it on your screen. The next thing I want to do is I want to put a horizontal line to the right that's going to be 11 inches long. I'm going to put my ortho on. If you want to hit F8, make sure you've got a nice horizontal line. Push your cursor to the right, and I'm going to put in 11. Okay, so that makes a line that's 11 long. Then I'm going to go straight up, push it in that direction, 8.5, go back, 11. And then I can do C, enter to close this loop. So C, enter, and then it closes back. Now I've got my rectangle, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do zoom extents. So if you have your zoom toolbar open over on the right-hand side, click that, and now it fills the screen, okay? Otherwise, the other shortcut you can do for Zoom is Z enter, E enter. Okay, it's Zoom extents. Z enter, E enter. Okay, now I want to delete that rectangle. So I'm going to go around. I want it to kind of fill the screen for me. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to individually select each one of those lines. Okay, so that I can delete it. So I hit erase and then selected each one individually and then hit enter. Okay. So now if you would, my paper is kind of set, right? Now, if we look underneath here, we delete our rectangle. Now we want to save the template. Okay, we're going to save the template. So we're going to go back underneath here. Make sure your object layer is active. Okay, make sure you don't have the 0 as your active layer. All right, everybody got it? Everybody's got object. I want everybody's attention. Does everybody have the object layer? Okay, absolutely. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to save this. So we're going to go up to File, Save As. We are not going to save it as a DWG because this is a template file. And if by being a template file, it's going to put it in the directory so I can pick it as a template when I enter into AutoCAD, okay? So we are going to arrow down where it says File Types, and we're going to go down to about the middle where it says AutoCAD Drawing Template. It's a DWT file instead of DWG, okay? So click on that. All right, and now notice it did switch our directory and it went to the templates directory, okay? Okay. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say WCTC. And I do an underscore, and then this is gonna be our inch, okay? And then you're just gonna hit save. Speaker is not working, hold on, okay. And I'm gonna say no, because I already have mine in there, okay? So now if you go down to the bottom of that list, you should see your WCTC underscore inch. Do you guys see that? Oh yeah. You want to just say yes. Yeah, just agree to everything along the way. Sorry. Okay. And now if you go down on your template list, do you see WCTC inch and WCTC? Well, you don't see metric yet. Do you guys see that on your list? Yeah.
Like extra on top of file and do insert ribbon. Mine's on my AutoCAD. How do you do that again?
This ribbon right here?
Yeah.
You have to right click up here and oopsie. The down arrow over here, sorry. The down arrow here, and it's going to be show menu bar all the way at the bottom. Okay. So does everybody see that template there? Oopsie, hold on. Okay. So now that we have that saved, okay, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to be handing in a screenshot of the fact that you did the template, okay? And what I want to see, okay, up at the top here, I did not save mine, but does yours say, what does yours say at the top for the file? Does it say drawing 1 or does it say the template? I don't remember. It says the template, right? Yeah. So what I want you to do up here where it says your WCTC inch template, you are going to do a screenshot when the I can't talk today. When you have the layers expanded, okay? So I want to see the layers expanded. So it tells me that you did everything. And then you're going to do a screenshot. So Windows Shift S, you're going to go all the way up to the top here. And you want to include your template so that that's the screenshot. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. And now that's what you're going to save to a document and then upload for this assignment, one of them, okay? I use Windows Shift S all at the same time, like hold Windows Shift S. Did that work for you? Okay. And then Windows Shift S, And then you want to make sure that you incorporate the name of your template at the top and all of the layers expanded so I can see that they're all there. That's all that I need. Okay. If I don't see it called the right thing, or if they're not expanded, you're not going to get the points. Okay. So make sure that you do that. And you'll notice that at the bottom of our list here, you're going to notice that it tells you to take the screenshot. Okay. Now we're going to do a metric file. Okay. Everybody ready to do the metric? And it's really the same process. So I'm going to go back to AutoCAD and I'm going to do a file exit, and I'm going to go back in to AutoCAD. Okay. So I'm going to minimize this. Oh, shoot. Too many windows. I'm going to go back into AutoCAD. Now, this time when I go in, I'm not going to pick a template, but I'm going to pick metric, okay, here for a new file, metric, and okay. Now, if you don't pick metric or you're like, oh, I didn't get that menu, then we're going to go up to our red A in the upper left-hand corner, and we're going to go down to drawing utilities, units, and you're just going to make sure, if you have to, you want to change it to millimeters here. And then for this one, the precision, no more than 3, 2 to 3 is totally fine for a millimeter. Okay. And then now we are going to do our layers. So we're going to go over to our layer properties and we're going to input each one. So I'm going to activate my 0 first, enter, and I'm going to put in object. It's going to stay white, continuous, but the line weight needs to go to 0.5. Okay. So I'll let you do, I'm thinking you probably have the good handle on this. Go ahead and add all of the layers using the colors, the line types. Make sure you load. Once you have them all in, make sure that you set your current layer at object so that you're seeing object up on the current layer bar. Once you have your layers done, then you're going to create the rectangle, and the rectangle size is on the paper. Oopsie. It's right here, step number 4. Okay. Once you have your layers in, now we're ready to add that rectangle. The rectangle size is 280 millimeters by 216 millimeters. So this is, equivalent to our 11 by 8.5. So we're going to start by drawing a line, 0, 0. And then I want to add, I want to put my ortho on, and I'm going to push to the right, and that's going to be 280 to the right. I'm going to go straight up, going to be 216, back over, 280, and then C, enter to close. Okay. To zoom extents, I'm going to go up to my toolbar, go all the way to the right, zoom extents to get this in the middle of my screen, kind of taking it all up. And then I'm going to delete that rectangle. Okay. Before I save this, you want to double check that object is your current layer. Make sure that that's your current layer. Because again, when I pick this template, that way I can start drawing right away, and I know that my current layer is on object. I don't have to change that. Once I've got that done, then I'm ready to save my template. So I'm going to do that same process, File. We're going to go to Save As, and then we're going to be down at DWT, template file. And you're going to call this one WCTC metric. And I don't want to replace the one that I have there. And then you're going to have the opportunity to do kind of okay, and then it'll populate in this list. Again, and I think it's a good idea, you want to save this again, and you want to navigate to either a jump drive or to your OneDrive, so that if in the event it's not there when you come back in, or if you're at home and you're, trying to use that same template rather than redoing it, you have another copy of it that you can navigate to, okay? Once you have that, okay, then to hand in, you are going to expand the dialog box here for the layers, and then you're going to do your Windows Shift S to get a screen snip, and then you want to go all the way up to the top to include the template name, and then also all the layers. So like this much is what I'm looking for, okay? And then you can upload that then to the assignment, okay? And this would be assignment 3A. So just showing me that you did these 2 templates, the inch and the metric, with the layers that we just identified, okay? Are there any questions at the moment? Roman? That's on your clipboard? Or yeah, I think that's called your clipboard. So then you want to open up, for instance, if you want to, you can open up like Word or Google Docs, and then you can place it in that document and then save it. So for instance, good question. I don't know if we've done that before. So what I would want to do is I would want to open up, I like Microsoft Word, and it should be on all the computers here. I'm going to do a blank document, okay? And right when I get in here, you don't have to worry about adding your name or anything, because when you populate it in your Canvas assignment, I know who it is, okay? And all you got to do is you're going to do, you can either do a right click and then hit paste, okay? And you're going to see it comes up here, or you can do Control V and it'll paste it in there. Is that helpful? Okay. And then you would want to put both of them on there. So if you didn't do the inch one, just pull the inch one back up and do that same thing. And then you'll be able to add the image here. And then you would save this one as assignment 3A, for instance, and then you would upload this. You can upload the document. Okay, any other questions? Okay. So then you would be ready to, if we go back to Canvas, you'll notice that this pertains to assignment 3A, okay? This is, you want to upload the screen snips or like a document, if you would, for the 2 templates that you just created, and then you're going to, upload it here and submit.